Okay, we are now streaming to YouTube, and I will hand the meeting off to the chair. Thank you.
Meeting of the University Impact District Review. Oops, sounds like I just got unmuted. Okay. This is the June 25th, 2020 meeting of the University Impact District Review Board. The next meeting will be on Thursday, the 23rd of July at 4 p.m. Location to be determined, probably virtual like this one. See what I've got here. You'll have to pardon me. This is my first time doing a virtual meeting. First of all, need to swear in staff. Patrick, if you'd like to raise your right hand. Is the testimony you got to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Patrick?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Let me do,
Yep.
Okay, there we go. Show your hand. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me do a roll call of board members. Frank Petrozzillo.
Present.
KB Jones. You muted, KB?
Present.
Doreen Sauer.
She's present.
Pasquale Grotto.
Present.
Carrie Reed.
Present.
All right, and I guess I'm vice chair, Joni Fleming. All right, covers roll call. What's the next item? Staff report. Do we have what's? All right. Do we need staff report or is? Yeah.
It's linked.
We got it, and it's on the download. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So first item of the board is approval of the record of action from the May 28th meeting. Board members, have you had a chance to review the record of action? Are there any corrections or changes to the record? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Terry?
Can I get a second?
Second, Frank.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I guess we, well, let's say your name.
Terry Reed's aye.
KB, aye. Frank, aye.
Pasquale, aye.
Doreen, she ready to recuse herself?
Yes.
Okay. Keone, aye. All those opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Okay, we'll move on to cases. The first application is UID 20-02-008, 28 to 30 East 13th Avenue. And we'll start by swearing in the applicants if they'll make sure that their video screen is up and we can see them.
I think that's still a continuation.
Oh.
Raise your right hand. Is the testimony you're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, staff, I'm going to tell us what we're looking at.
Yeah, so this staff report is actually going to have two motions, but I'll just read the one staff report and analysis, but we need to have a motion for the variance changes and then the actual built building. So just keep that in mind. But the applicant is proposing to add a 2.5-story addition to the north side of an existing 2.5-story duplex at 2830 East 13th Avenue. The existing structure is a 3-unit residential building that will add an additional unit to bring the total to 4 units. Each unit is generally a mirror image of each other, with 2 units having entrances on the south and 2 units having entrances on the north. The parking lot will be modified and the garage at the rear of the property will be removed. Variances include converting a 3-unit dwelling into a 4-unit dwelling and construction of a building addition, reducing the sum of the widths of the side yards of the existing building from 8 feet, which is 20% of the lot width, to the existing sum of the east and west side yards of 2.5 feet. Additionally, to reduce the minimum east and west side yards of the existing building from 5 feet to 2 feet and 0.5 feet from the west side yard, and to reduce the east side yard of the rear addition from 5 feet to 2.5 feet. Staff notes the new construction is generally consistent with plan recommendations and design guidelines. The guidelines state that landscaping should be part of the projects and to enhance structures. Staff notes concerns about the lack of landscaping and screening along Pearl Street and parking encroaching into the landscaped rear yard. Staff recommends adding landscaping along the Pearl Street frontage. Staff recommends support for the variances and a conditional approval for the structure. The conditions being landscaping be added along the Pearl Street frontage.
All right. If the applicants would like to talk about the process, tell us about it. Brad, you're up.
He's muted.
Oh,
There we
okay.
go.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that. So if we're just talking about the variances at this point, the variances are for the existing building because we're having a change of use. We need to bring it into current standards. And I think staff explained it fairly well, so I don't really have much to add. When we start talking about the building, then I have more to discuss. But if we're just discussing the variances right now, then I think we're good.
And this is Keone. Just to be clear, you're here for both purposes. Is that right? You're looking for support on the variances and also for a vote on the certificate of approval?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's start on the variance side, I guess. Board members, any comments or questions?
Yeah, Bradley, variances are based on hardship. Can you tell us what the hardship is on the 2 variances that you're asking for?
It's the existing building. As you can see on the southwest corner of the existing building, it's still within a foot of Pearl Street. So because it's a change of use, we need to bring the entire building and the site into current code requirements. And unfortunately, there's nothing we can really do with that existing side yard setback. All the other portions of the code, the FAR, lot coverage, all that stuff, that all meets current code without any variances. It's just in the existing building to current standards.
So it's non-conforming and it needs to have a variance in order to be conforming. The existing is non-conforming and needs a variance to be conforming. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Questions from any other board members?
No.
Is there any, by supporting this variance, are we, by default, are we supporting something else that is, this material? Because, it seems on its surface that there's no discussion here, really. It's just. what Bradley said.
These variances are needed to be voted on before you can move on to the existing structure, if that answers your
Yeah,
question.
and I think that's the intent. I think Frank's question is simply, does voting on the variances affect anything beyond this project itself? Maybe I don't know. Am I interpreting that right, Frank?
I guess I was looking at legacy. By approving these, does that mean that we've opened the door on the rest of the project to do something or not? I don't think it does. I think all it does is allow them to do what's allowable by the code. So I will answer my own question. I don't think it is. And,
this is Jackie Yeoman with the Columbus Planning Division. I just wanted to chime in really quick and say, even though there's two motions, there's no reason why the commission can't discuss the entire project all at the same time and then go back. So I feel like that might answer your question, Frank, in terms of, being able to discuss it as a whole, and then you can go back and motion separately for the two. So there's no reason why you can't. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. I was worried that we were, trapping ourselves here. So could you then, Bradley, if that's okay with you, Keone, could Bradley go ahead and talk about the project?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead, Brad.
So last time we came was back in February, and there was a lot of discussion about having the two fronts. And at the time, we had the addition fronting the north side, the alley, essentially mirroring the side that fronts 13th. So we went back in and we made some small tweaks. We changed around how the windows work. We changed the dormer configuration. We added a gable over the entry to the back steps. That's to help differentiate it a little bit, but still keep the same character and the same style as what's on the front. Some of the other comments were how we address the east and west elevations. There were some double windows, and there was another that was a blank facade. So we went in and we saw what we could do code-wise. It will require some rated windows to be installed on the east side, but last iteration we had a blank facade, and I think it was Frank that pointed out that you didn't really like that blank facade. So we can add those windows, and we're still allowed to do that because we're beyond the 3 feet from the property line. And that was pretty much the gist of what was discussed last time, is making some subtle tweaks to make the back slightly different from the front while still keeping some of the same character.
Board members, questions, comments?
Frank, correct me if I'm mistaken, but wasn't one comment that the dormers not extend all the way to the peak of the roof last time? Maybe I'm thinking of another project. I thought that was a comment someone made.
Some of the comments were with regard to the roof line and how we were addressing that. It wasn't necessarily not having the dormers reach the peak. It was, should we step it? Should we see what we can do? Unfortunately, the section is a little tight.
Okay.
So there's not as much leniency. I think if we could do something, then we see what we can do. But the addition right now already steps 12 inches below the existing peak. I guess we could shorten the top of that rear dormer to step down further to the back. I wouldn't be opposed to that, and it wouldn't really necessarily affect anything on the inside. But yeah, some of the discussion was about how we address the roof lines and how we make it look like an addition, but still maintain the existing continuity.
I think it's the two side dormers. Yeah. I don't think there's any magic to keeping the slope the exact same on the dormer on the east and west elevation. It wouldn't bother me, at least, if it was just a lower pitch on the dormer roof, such that it took it away from being coincident with the ridge of the major roof. Otherwise, Bradley, I think you did a very nice job here. I don't misunderstand. I think it's very nice. But, for me, I would lower the pitch on the dormers on the east and west. Is what I would do. I don't think there's any problem with the north dormer. That would be my opinion.
Maybe like, because right now we have it at an 11-12, maybe like a 9-12, and that should bring
Yeah,
it down.
just drop it so it's a foot or so lower than the ridge.
Can I ask a question about the dormer graphics?
Are you breaking up, or I can't?
I don't think she's talking.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
I think that the way the dormers work now is successful, both because the spaces inside work better, and I think they look fun. I think to evaluate the slope, it would be better to almost see it in perspective, because that's the way it's going to be observed from the street level. And my read of the way the dormers and the angles work right now is very good. I wouldn't change it. My question is about the dormer windows on the north and the south side. They're different. And Bradley, could you explain what the thinking is about those dormer windows glazing?
So the attic level of all the front units versus the rear units, the layout is slightly different. Existing dormer to the south, we tried to keep that same footprint of what's there, just because I think it looks really good along that facade, just based on proportions. And then on the north, we had a little bit more flexibility because it's new. So we added a little bit more space to those bedrooms to help differentiate it too from the north entrance.
Are those casement windows?
They appear to be.
Okay, so you have casement windows in the dormer, but the other windows are double hung?
Yes. Well, they're double hung with a faux mullion that we need them for egress.
So I'm a little perplexed by the south windows without the faux mullion that are in the shower. And I'm wondering about the way that's going to appear from the outside, and I'm wondering why it wouldn't look the same as the mullion on the north that's over the bed.
Yeah, we can put a faux mullion in there.
And is casement windows at the shower the ideal?
No.
Depends on who's taking the shower.
All right, so we know if Frank moves in there, he's going to use them, but yeah, we can keep them fixed. I think that's have them fixed and then add a faux mullion to it. I think, yeah, that's fine.
I'm just picturing from the street, seeing those windows bend out. And I wonder if it wouldn't be better to have double hungs throughout.
Sure.
I agree with that.
This is Patrick. Was the agreement that double hung windows throughout is preferred?
I'm suggesting. So
Okay.
They're you're just adding a crossbar, right? Though, Bradley, they're not double hung windows, or are they double hung windows?
No, they would give I think on the front facade where the bathrooms are, I think those can be double hung. I don't see a reason, but we can still get that good shadow line. On the back, they have to be casement so we can meet egress requirements.
Oh, I see.
Windows aren't quite big enough. So adding the faux mullion gives us the appearance of a double hung without necessarily doing it. I think on the front, on the side, we can definitely do it.
Sorry, Bradley. The alley side is where you need egress.
Yes.
Yeah, I accept that.
Any other comments or questions from members of the board?
Can we go back to the site plan, please? Okay, can you zoom into the back? Look, there you go. Thank you. So I know landscaping, but I'm curious on the stacked space closest to the rear stairs. Is there going to be any pavement that gets you up to the stair?
Yeah, we'll put a sidewalk in there.
Okay. 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 And the same thing at the front to go out to 13th, I assume?
Yes.
Okay.
This is Keone. So the staff comment was they recommended more landscaping be provided. Bradley, is there a reason you guys aren't showing more landscaping?
No, there's no particular reason. So we use the site plan for both the UIDRB and the BZA. So adding landscaping doesn't affect any of the BZA or UAC stuff. So yeah, adding boxwoods or different kind of shrubbery along that facade, I think, is a vast improvement to what's there. So I think that'd be a really good idea.
Okay. All right. So I think I'll make that a condition of the approval then.
Is there a specific species or configuration that you would prefer, a certain amount of screening, or can we put, like I said, some boxwoods?
I would say let's ask the board member who's a landscape architect.
It's just something that delineates the alley from or Pearl Street to where you really kind of, I assume there's going to be some turf out there. So I think you just want to strengthen that edge, especially given how tight the building is. So, what I would do is from basically the center line of the building, I would extend that. I can't see which way is north. I think this would be, sorry, Kate, shush. Hey, stop. I would extend the shrubs. I guess what I'm saying, from there towards 13th, it would all be shrubs. That would make a turn and then follow the right of way of Pearl Street up to the dumpster. And then if the rest of it's turf behind that to the building, I think that's fine. But I think you want a constant kind of border along that whole thing, not just a partial where the building's close. That would be my recommendation. And then if you do any ground cover shrubs between the double stack stalls and the porch, I would put parking blocks in unless it's ground cover, because you're basically going to be running into them when people pull their cars in. You're going to have a 18 to 2 foot overhang depending on what kind of car it is, and it's going to tear stuff up.
Right.
So
that was one I had. I sent this plan to zoning, Christine at zoning. That was one of her comments, to add parking blocks along that. So it's not currently shown, but we will have that to get through zoning.
okay.
Any other questions and comments from members of the board?
No.
All right. If not, can I get a motion? Well, we need 2 motions. So let's start with the zoning variance first.
Right.
Can I get a motion on the zoning variance?
This is Frank. I move to support the zoning variance.
Carrie, a second.
All those in favor, say aye and then your name.
Aye, KB.
Aye, Carrie.
Aye, Frank.
Aye, Pasquale.
Aye, Keone. All those opposed, same sign. The motion passes. You have support for the variance. All right. Go ahead.
Sorry, Keone. Doreen officially abstained from that.
She's recused from this case, is my understanding.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right. Can I get a motion for the certificate of approval, and make sure you mention your name in the motion?
And then any conditions of approval? Do we want that landscaping as a condition in the parking blocks or the
window
sidewalk to the stairs? Window crossbars.
All right. Who wants to make that motion?
I apologize. I have a 12-year-old lab who barks at leaves blowing down the street, so it kind of is what it is. So I'll try and make a motion to approve with the following conditions: that a sidewalk be added from the front to 13th Street. Similarly, at the back that connects the porch to the parking area, that landscaping be added along Pearl Street. That I believe it's the 13th Street side that changes from a casement window to a double hung window. And are we going to go with a dormer, Keone? Lowering to 12 inches below, or are we leaving that alone?
Frank, you're the one who wanted that. KB disagreed.
Well, look, I asked Bradley, what do you prefer, Bradley?
I like it the way it is, but I might be a little biased.
Well, if you like it the way it is, you deserve that. So let's do it.
Okay. So that's
the last thing, was there something, Keone, about a bar in the window?
Yeah, crossbar in the casement windows at the rear of the house at the addition.
Okay. And the parking blocks,
landscaping.
Yeah, landscaping, the parking blocks be added, and I think that's all the conditions, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I think I missed one in there. What was the dormer condition?
There isn't one.
No,
it's going away.
Okay. No. Okay. So just to clarify before we vote, Pearl Street landscaping be added, sidewalk added to the front on 13th and to the rear, parking from the parking to the steps. The window casement move from a casement window to a double hung window, a crossbar in the casement window in the rear addition, and parking blocks.
I believe that's it.
Okay. Thank you.
This is KB, I second.
All right. Yep. Okay. Board members, all those in favor, say your name and aye.
Carrie, aye.
KB, aye.
Frank, aye.
Pasquale, aye.
Keone, aye. All those opposed, same sign. The motion passes.
Who was the first and second on that?
Carrie was the first, KB was the second.
Thank you.
All right. UID 20-02-009, 1249 North High Street, Turner's Barbershop.
This is Mark.
The applicant present?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Yeah, I saw a caller in there, but we're looking for Melody Ward or somebody representing Turner's Barbershop. It looks like there's a couple call-in users that don't have their name identified. Is Melody Ward there or anyone representing Turner's Barbershop?
I'm not seeing anything, Patrick.
Okay. Do we want to move on then, or?
Yes.
Now,
okay. Let's move on. If they show up later, we can return back to them.
Okay.
Okay. Application 1908-008, 22 East 17th Avenue, Pregnancy Decision Center.
Yes. The applicant is proposing a complete refresh of an existing pole-mounted sign cabinet, including paint and replacement of acrylic sign faces. The faces are flat white polycarbonate, and the graphics are digitally printed vinyl. The cabinet will be painted gray with color consistent throughout. The University District Plan recommends that new signage be simple and limited to business name, logo, and function. The proposal is consistent with plan recommendation, and staff notes the applicant has taken consideration of the board's previous comments about logo size and color. Staff recommends approve.
Is the applicant present?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. You want to go ahead and tell us about it?
Yeah, so this was one we talked. There was reference on the cabinet. And
Oh boy.
it used to be stages of blue, and so we've changed it now to consistent with this dark gray so that it is more absorbed into the background and not overly, it just doesn't stand out. Additionally, we changed smaller per recommendation and gave more space between the text. And did the same thing also on the window graphics and changed the all caps to upper and lower as was requested there. I will throw out one thing. I did actually get an email from this client this morning asking that if we would possibly be able to change the background color of the faces of the pole. They were thinking it might be too much teal. I tried to reach them several times today and was not able to. So I didn't know if that would be something you would consider approving with conditions, or if only the way that it is presented currently is the way that we would have to go.
Is the background
board
opaque?
members?
Well, I'll start. I think this is improved from last time. I think ditching the uppercase on the window graphic is way better. I don't really object to the teal background. It doesn't really bother me. What you've done with the base of the sign is a lot better than last time. That's for sure. It kind of goes away.
Would there be any opposition? Push a little harder, put up the actual sign face to be gray. Would there be opposition to that?
I don't
If
believe
all
so.
everything else.
Is the background opaque?
It's not stated as opaque. If you'd prefer it that way.
Yeah, we generally ask for the backgrounds to be opaque because we don't like to see this big bright thing lit up. Just the logo and the letters would light, and everything else would be non-illuminated.
Sure. Yeah, that's definitely
for me. For me, I don't care if it's light gray or the teal that it is there. It doesn't make any difference to me. I don't know about anybody else.
Would that be something that you'd want city staff to take a last look at the color, I assume?
Yeah, just to verify. Why not?
Okay.
Any other comments, board members?
No comment.
Doreen, no comment.
KB, no
All
comment.
right. Can I get a motion then?
Okay, I move we approve the application as submitted with the following condition: that the background color be opaque such that as to prevent illumination transmission, and that an optional background color of a light to medium gray would be acceptable upon staff review to determine that there is adequate contrast between the background and the lettering.
I'll second.
And your name is?
My name is Frank today. Yes, thank you.
And it's Doreen, and
do
I
we have
second.
a second? Okay.
Doreen, I second.
All those in favor say aye in your name.
Aye, KB.
Aye, Pasquale.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Doreen.
Aye, Keone. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
And Patrick,
Yes.
so we had Brian Packer on the line, and he was representing Signcom. He was muted, and so we didn't catch that in time. So they are ready to go for the next
Turner's
days for Turner's.
Barbershop.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we'll look back UID 20-209, 1249 North High Street, Turner's Barbershop.
Okay. Yeah, Turner's Barbershop. The applicant is proposing an awning for an existing barbershop above the transom and measuring 11 feet by 3.5 feet. The awning will extend 3 feet 6 inches from the storefront, and the lettering measures 10 inches tall for the business name and 2.3 inches tall for the address. The business name lettering exceeds plan guidelines, stating lettering be a maximum of 8 inches high. The sign otherwise meets the guidelines for awning and canopy signs, and the applicant has also taken into consideration previous board comments by flattening the text. Staff notes the board has approved larger lettering on awnings when there was no wall sign present. Staff recommends approve with conditions, and the conditions being sign lettering be between 6 and 8 inches.
All right. And if the applicant is present, you want to raise your right hand? Testimony you're about to give, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but?
Muted.
All right. Is that a yes? You're muted. You're still muted.
Right now.
Sorry about that.
Great, thank you. Anything else you want to add to the application?
The only thing with the script text that we're proposing, it's really only the letter T that is 10 inches. Everything else is like 6 inches. So if we make the T much smaller, it just makes the names very small. So it's really the 10 inches from the top to the bottom of the letter T, which is a script. Everything else is really about 6 inches tall. See the Turner script in the graphic.
This is KB. I personally don't have a problem with the size of the letter T. My question for you is the location of the text within the surface of the black vertical awning. I think I heard said that it was 3 feet 6 inches tall? And it appears to me that that text is floating very close to the top of the fold. And I'm wondering why that text is not centered vertically within the surface of the awning.
And that's a good question. It could definitely be shifted down. I agree with you.
I think it would read a lot more clearly if the bottom of the text aligns with the numbers 1249. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep, I understand that. That's not a problem, and that would be fine.
Okay.
Could we see a shot of the awning relative to the full facade?
Jackie, if you pull up Google Maps, you can see it there.
Well, while he's
what's existing.
Yeah, while he's doing that, it appears that the existing sign is a curved sort of a bonnet thing, or existing awning, I should say. And what you're proposing here has a very tall front face and very steeply flat pitched roof portion. Right. What's behind the geometry of the section of the awning?
It hides an ugly air conditioner unit which the customer does not want to get rid of.
Yeah.
That's the only reason we did that. It was the only solution to have enough pitch to use a fabric awning and also try and hide it and make it dress up the front of the building.
Oh boy. Actually, the existing awning looks better than the awning you propose.
Yeah, the existing awning's not there. It's gone. Can I even see it? Yeah, that awning is not there anymore.
It's just an odd awning shape, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's all generated by the air conditioner. That's why I asked to see the full shot. I don't think that complements the facade.
If you raise the back of the awning higher and lowered the front, would you then be able to, if you look at it in section, would you be able to still hide the air conditioner? In other words,
you still have to have the kind of the boxy tall valance in the front. We could definitely go up higher in the back, which would give it more pitch. But that valance, which is
well, but as you do that, how far does the air conditioner stick out from the transom?
I'd have to measure it, but I believe between 24 and 30 inches.
Okay, but for any inch that is less than the depth of the awning, as you raise the top, you should be able to lower the front, is my point.
The issue that I'm running into.
It could be pushed down some.
Or could you make it more square, such that there's very little pitch on the top and it's more of a box awning as opposed to, in other words, to me, the section is halfway in between sort of a plain box and a more typical awning, and it seems a bit ambiguous.
But Frank, if it's flat on the top, is it not going to have difficulty shedding water?
Yeah,
oh, no, I agree, KB. I'm just wondering if there's a slope that's enough to shed water. I don't know.
Snow.
Yeah, it's really a sectional question, and without knowing what the section's like, it's hard to talk about.
We made it as small as possible, but to give a small gap around that air conditioner unit so it would still have enough air to function correctly.
Could you do a curved awning?
That's what there was a curved style awning that was originally proposed that we removed.
I appreciate that, but it's a way to solve the issue. But of course, KB's comments about lowering the graphic is going to make it look a lot better, clearly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know. What does everybody else think? I just think it's an odd looking awning.
Yeah, plus the relationship of the left edge to the adjacent storefront, it overlaps the adjacent storefront, and then it's in such close proximity on the right to the striped element.
Did everybody see the picture of the existing awning or the old awning?
No.
No.
Can we stick it up, please? Because the old awning looks fine.
We still have the old awning. It definitely would be in our benefit to put it back up.
Well, I mean, the framework. So why are you changing, I guess, is the question. What's the reason?
This is Patrick.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Back in February, this was put up without approval by the UIDRB board and requested to come back with a new awning that matched the awnings to the north with the tattoos and DP Doe.
Yeah, but this doesn't match them.
Yeah, the building elevation is different, and it's limited. The size is limited by what you said. The business to the south and to the Barber pole, whatever you call that.
I'm sorry, I don't remember any of this.
Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't there that meeting.
Can we respond to Frank's request to show the other awning?
It is. It's on the screen.
That's it.
That's
it's on the screen.
Yeah, zoom in on it, would you please, a little bit?
Frank, from the previous meeting's minutes, you had said a solid rolled out awning would be preferred.
solid rolled out awning. You're going to tell me what I meant?
I don't know what that.
I'm just trying to refer to the previous meeting minutes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
KB, help. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't think it's a beautiful shape or form, but I don't think the business has to operate. I don't think that anything we can offer in addition is going to make a significant difference other than trying to make the graphics on the front be more legible, more centered. I don't have a big concern about the graphics. I mean, the awning shape itself.
Well,
Which awning shape, though, KB?
Which awning is my question.
Yeah, which awning?
Yeah,
No, I think I prefer the flatter surface. It just seems less obstructive, less noticeable, slight diagonal on the top, flat across the front.
Well, if they move the sign, if they move the graphics down, like you said, what you were going to put them pretty much in line with the address?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
all right.
Never in love of picking the least of evils. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right.
Any other board comments or questions? All right, can I get a motion on the least evil?
So this is KB. I'll move that we approve the awning as presented with the change in moving the graphic name down so that it aligns with the address numbers.
This is Karen.
Can I get a second? All those in favor, say aye in your name.
Carrie, aye.
KB, aye.
Frank, aye.
Doreen, aye.
Pasquale, aye.
Keone, aye. All those opposed, same sign. All right, the motion passes.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. UID 20-03-009, 1951 Indianola Avenue, boarding house.
This is this variance.
Yeah, I believe use variance, yes. Patrick, if you'd like to bring us
sorry,
up to speed.
I was on mute. I apologize for that. The applicant is requesting the board to review a change of use and parking lot changes. The property is currently listed as a single family dwelling and would like to change to a sorority/rooming house. The property has operated as a sorority since the early 1990s, and no alterations or improvements to the property are proposed, as we're asking them to make an improvement by adding bike parking. The required number of parking spaces will be reduced from 12 to 6. Also, today I was made aware that the application already went before BZA and was approved. Planning is supportive of this proposal, conditioned on bicycle parking being added. The University District Plan states parking variances be reviewed based on the presence of on-street parking, extended variances requested, size and nature of use, and potential impact on adjacent residential uses. The plan goes on to state bicycle parking be incorporated into development projects with additional consideration in higher density developments. Staff found the requested parking reduction supportable and request bicycle parking be included at the rear of the property to offset the reduced number of parking spaces. Staff recommends approving with conditions. Sorry, what was that, Pasquale?
What is the underlying zoning? Is it AR4?
Yeah, yes.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right, why don't we swear in the applicant and we can have the conversation. Okay. Is the applicant present?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, can you raise your right hand?
Yeah.
Is the testimony you're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So we filed an application. My name is Craig Moncrief. I'm the attorney for the applicant, owner of 1951 Indianola Avenue. Application was for 2 area variances for an existing parking lot. No changes to the site were proposed. The only issue is that this property has been used as a sorority since 1992, but the building card reflects a single-family residential use. So in order to clean up the building card, you have to go through the process of getting any necessary area variances. So that's why we had to do that in order to clean that up. So nothing's changing. It's all existing. Just requesting those 2 area variances.
I guess I have a question, a point of order for staff, which is if the BZA already approved the variance, what is our role in this?
Rubber stamp.
Yeah, it's still provide the recommendation, but
okay, so just we'll put ourselves on record.
Jackie Yeoman, sorry, can I jump in, Patrick? So I think we talked about this earlier, and I'm not sworn in, so I'm going to let you restate what I'm going to say. But I thought that there were actually changes to the parking lot layout and also the placement of the bike rack. Because there's site changes, I believe those need to be board approved, correct? In addition to the recommendation for the variances.
Yes, the site plan is changing from the required 12 parking spaces to 6, and then the addition of bike parking is a site plan improvement.
Just to clarify, we as staff checked in with Building and Zoning Services, and we were told that this application would require a COA in addition to the recommendation to BZA. So I just wanted to clarify, I think that a COA is needed and that the board does need to motion to approve even though it was already approved by BZA. Just want to clarify that.
Right, but I mean, they're here for a variance, support or lack of support on a variance, which they've already got. So I guess what you're saying is we should...
It's not just for the variance. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's my understanding is it's actually not just for the variance, but they actually do need approval for their site plan to receive to zoning clearance. Basically, they need zoning clearance for this to be able to have it become official, and that requires a COA from the board.
Right. Okay. So I guess my question is, do we still want to do a vote to register, I guess, our viewpoint on the zoning variance, and then a separate motion on the.
Is anybody speaking? We can't hear anything.
I think you got muted for a second.
Yeah, it's someone muted and then unmuted. So I guess the question still stands: do we want to discuss and vote on the support or lack of support on the variance, just to put yourselves on record, and then do we want a motion on the site plan, or do you want to just accept the variance as fait accompli and move on to the site plan? And I mean, I guess it's a question for the staff and board both. Like staff, the question is, like, do we need to, I mean, given that the variance is already approved, do you still want our position on record?
Personally, from my perspective, I would think that would be beneficial. But if the board doesn't see it fit, then I'm okay with that too. But I would prefer to have it on record. If anyone asks me in the future about this case, I have something to reference.
Okay. Having said that, board, questions, comments on the variance?
This is usually a Doreen or a Pasquale issue. You know, right now we're talking about precedent. We're not talking about nothing we do is going to mean anything. So, do you have any issue with this, guys?
Actually, it's Doreen. I actually do, and I guess I would probably be voting no on this as a matter of record. I think that the whole way it was presented has been sort of murky. And even I was not at the last University Area Commission meeting for a medical excuse, and I know that it went through there, but I'm not sure that the implication of voting for was fully understood or presented. And I'm not casting blame on anyone. It's just, it's been a very odd case from the beginning.
And Doreen, this is Keone. Just to be clear, the UAC voted ultimately to support it.
That's my understanding. Pasquale was there, so he may have more insight.
This has received unanimous approval from the zoning committee, the University Area Commission, and the BZA.
Mm-hmm.
Any other board members have comments or questions?
I move we support the variance application.
Carrie, I second.
I have one. Let me ask one question before we go there. So what happened, Patrick? Did it just get screwed up in the process?
So this case was presented to us in May, and we had tabled it at that point so we could move ahead of the UAC, just as tradition has it. And then today, the applicant asked me if we still needed to do this this meeting because it had already had those previous approvals. So I thought it was still appropriate to appear before the board to get the site plan
I guess
approved.
that's not my question. My question is, my understanding of the way zoning clearance works is the UAC votes, we vote, both of which can only support or not support, and then it goes to the BZA. So it shouldn't have advanced to the BZA.
Because I know last time that's what happened is we chose not to hear it because it needed to go back to UAC. And my understanding is it didn't come to us and then BZA. So
I thought that too, to be honest. I talked to the city. I had said I had been before you but tabled. And they said, well, actually they prefer for it to go through the whole BZA process before it goes in front of the Architectural Review Board.
Makes no sense.
This is Jackie Yeoman.
Makes
Can
no
I
sense.
chime in really quick? I'm, again, planning manager with Planning Division. So Patrick and I talked about this ahead of time because, as Patrick said, we were just notified of this earlier today. So Building and Zoning Services staff, the BZA, and so we were not a part, so I just want to clarify because when we say talk to the city, we were not a part of those conversations. We didn't know that it was going before BZA. And to be honest, we don't actually know 100% why. It sounds like maybe there was just some confusion on the order of steps, but we, Patrick and I would agree that the way that we would view these in the future is that they're supposed to get the recommendation from the board first. So I think, unfortunately, it was just a mistake or something that just happened. You know, I'm not 100% sure because, again, we weren't in those conversations. But we agree that the typical process would be to come before UIDRB for support first. Unfortunately, we just really can't say why it didn't happen that way because we are not a part of that process. It goes through Building and Zoning Services. And sorry, I'm looking away from my camera because I'm looking at all of you and you're on my other screen. So sorry that it looks like I'm looking away. I'm going to take myself off now.
Okay. Yeah, that pretty much explained the exact situation. Thank you, Jackie.
All right. Well, let's get on record how we feel about the variance, then we can move on to the site plan. Frank, I think you had a motion.
Yeah, Yeah, to approve the, no, not to approve, to support the variance as requested.
Carrie, I second.
And okay. All right. All those in favor, your name and I.
Carrie, aye.
Doreen, no.
KB, no.
Frank, no.
Wait, what? Sorry, Frank said no?
That's what he did.
Okay.
Oh, Pasquale, no.
Keone, no. And just to be clear, because not because of the merits of the application, but because of the inability of the city apparently to understand their own process.
Yeah.
Understood.
Okay, let's move on to the, go ahead.
I just said understood. That's 6 against.
No, I think it was 5 and 1.
5 and
Oh, sorry,
Keone said yes. Mhm.
Sorry, I apologize. Who said yes on that? Carrie or Kiani?
Carrie.
Carrie.
Okay, thank you.
All right, why don't we move on to the site plan? Craig, you want to tell us about the actual site design?
Yeah, so the only changes are to delineate the parking spaces specifically, including the handicap space. And then also we've agreed to the condition of the city requested 3 bicycle racks. So we're happy to provide that.
Any questions from board members?
Well, it may not be possible, but as I recall last time, we looked at an aerial, and if you go northwest of this parking lot, this whole thing back there is a big hot parking lot mess, as I recall. So that immediately butts up to another parking lot. And I mean, if I were doing it, I would scoot that parking lot, I guess it would be southeast, and create a landscape bed that you could put some sort of columnar tree or something to kind of separate that. I mean, it's just one nasty bit of asphalt back there. I mean, you may not be required to do it. It's going to make your last stall a little bit sketchy, but can you go to aerial?
This is KB. I would really appreciate if Brian Grimm was so responsible as to plant a tree back there. It would be unprecedented. I would be happy if they didn't have blasting parties with speakers back there, because the precedent now is that all of the backs of each of those houses along that side of Indianola is either gravel or asphalt, and are used in ways that I think are non-conforming with the rest of the rules of the area. But there's nothing behind any of those houses except trash.
Suggest some.
I would applaud Brian Grimm if he would set a new precedent.
Can you pan the area north a little bit, please?
This is Doreen. Are you sure there's room for only 1 tree and not more?
You know, I'm not suggesting that, but I would use like a, the name is escaping me. I don't specify plants so much anymore. A columnar hornbeam, and you could actually do a row of them and actually separate visually this parking lot from the rest of it.
That would be fast.
That would be wonderful.
So, I mean, and those are really tough trees. I mean, they're really a good urban tree. I mean, if you had 4 or 5 feet, if you go back to the site plan, you've got room, I think. Again, it's going to really pinch your last space, but I mean, I think that's going to be, you've still got room to landscape between the back of the house, or and the parking lot. You've got plenty of room. So that's one thing I would do. I mean, I think so the area between, you've got 4, I assume, shrubs, and then the edge of the parking lot. I mean, there's no dimension there, but I'm guessing that's at least 6 feet, maybe 7 feet. So that's what I would do. I would just scoot this thing down and then create a row of columnar trees along each one of those spaces and separate that from the surrounding area.
Why don't we ask them to come back with a landscape plan that reflects some of this?
I think that's a great idea. We're trying to figure out if that's a handicap spot or a dumpster in the back.
Yeah, that's the.
Oh, the aisle
Okay.
for the handicap.
Okay. Yeah, I think a landscape plan makes a lot of sense.
What exactly do you want to do? Because I'm looking at where the property lines are, and it's a tight squeeze. I'd be happy to add a tree to where the sidewalk is, and then another one fit as much landscaping as possible into that northwest corner, if possible. Would that be fine?
Well, I guess what I'm suggesting is, again, it's going to pinch your last space. It's not going to be a fun space to get out of. Hold on. I'll just draw it real quick.
Here.
Let it be known that Carrie is the first one to draw on these virtual meetings, not me. Okay?
I'll add that to the meeting minutes.
Okay, so I don't know if you can see this very well, but it's a really, really crude sketch. But I think you could actually, this is your last stall, so you could actually do this, your bike rack somewhere over in here, and create 4 or 5 feet there, and just continue that all the way down. I think that would be a huge improvement.
Are you talking about along the west property line, moving all the spaces down?
All of them. Yep.
I would ask that this is an existing condition. I'd be happy to.
Crappy existing condition. So we're just, I said it's a crappy existing condition, so we're just trying to make it better.
I get that, but it's no different than all of the surrounding properties. I mean, we're happy to include additional bicycle parking and as much landscaping in the limited area that's available, even in the front, if need be. But there's just not much room back there, and I'd hate to move parking spaces. Then you lose maneuverability for the parking spaces. So that would be my request, is just if we could keep it to the existing. Looks like there's some room. Be happy to include landscaping of some sort as much as we can, just to keep it in the existing landscaping area.
I don't know, Jackie Yeoman, from the city standpoint, if what happens if it's an existing condition, if the city has any ability to an applicant to do something like this, or if it's kind of grandfathered because it's there now. I appreciate your comment about wanting to do what you can, but I'm asking what the typical position is from the city standpoint.
So the applicant is requesting approval to change the parking lot layout. I think that the board can place conditions on that, but I would say that with any conditions, they should be directly related to the request, right? And they should be proportional to the request. So I'm not going to say that the board should or shouldn't put a condition of landscaping. But in terms of the COA, from our staff side, Patrick's not going to issue a COA if there are conditions placed on it by the board that have not been met yet.
Go on, Jack. Are they manipulating the parking lot, or are they just basically restriping it?
We're just
Restriping
restriping it.
Okay.
Nothing's changing it. And if I might include too, there's only 20 feet of access behind the current parking spaces. So moving those spaces would trigger another variance of aisle width and maneuverability.
Okay.
So that's just kind of the issue there, is which is why I'm asking. We're more than willing to add to the area and add some trees. It sounds like a great idea. It's just that kind of opens up a whole new can of worms if he's got to move all these parking spaces.
Well, this is Doreen. I hate to add another can of worms to it, but in a way, the backyards seem to grow asphalt on their own. And so I'm not sure that all of that asphalt and parking was ever approved to begin with. So I don't think it's unreasonable of us to think about landscaping a little differently. And we are right in the middle of forming focus groups for the special permit parking district that's coming to the university area. And by this fall, I mean, the focus groups will have met. Parking is always what it has been. It's been at a premium, but that doesn't give us an excuse for simply just asphalting the world in order to accommodate one more vehicle.
Well, the asphalt's there. It's sorry, you can go ahead.
Right. And I want to go back to what something KB mentioned. You know, really what it's become is sort of like an impromptu concert and dance party space back there. It's not about cars at all.
I just want to reiterate this. The only reason we're even going through this process is to change the building card.
I
Nothing has
understand.
changed with this site since 1992. The asphalt is legal. The building is legal. The only reason we have to go through this is because the building card was not changed to reflect a legally permitted use. So there's no argument.
Now, I understand that as an argument, and my point had been the last time we met was, in essence, that I actually, knowing this property very well, wondered about the veracity of how long it has been supposedly used as a sorority house. So when I objected to the last motion, it was perhaps on the merits of the case as well as what the BZA had already decided. So that's as much as I can contribute to this discussion, I guess.
The use of a sorority is legal. It meets the zoning, which is AR4.
Right. But your date timeline and mine would have been far different in terms of how long it's been used, as that, which calls into question for me exactly how the building has been used and now being asked to be legal.
Well, I mean, it is legal. The only thing that's changing, it doesn't really matter when it became a sorority house. It's allowed to be a sorority house. The only issue is that the building card doesn't reflect it. So this is just to clean up some
I understand.
records.
That is your viewpoint, and I have mine. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir, I get the point. It's in a property zone for the use. The building card just didn't say it. Remind me, what tripped the building card?
The building card
change of owner?
No, it's just the building card lists the use. The last use listed was from 1990, and it says single family.
I get that. What tripped the fact that someone realized that the building card was incorrect?
Oh, this is in order to, the owner wants to change the use in order to get a new rooming house license.
Meaning there has not been one.
It expired.
And when did it expire?
It was before the owner bought the property.
Yeah, so that's kind of my question. It was a result of change in ownership, correct? Change in ownership resulted in a realization that the building card did not match the current use of the building. The use of the building, of course, is allowable by zoning for the location.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
the owner's within rights to ask that the card be changed.
Right, and that's not in dispute. Yeah, you're right.
All right. Well, why don't we let's circle back to the landscape site plan part of this, recognizing that The only thing that's being done on the site is restriping of the parking lot in the addition of 3 bike loops. What is the board's view with regard to approval or not of the site plan?
Keone, could you put the site plan back up again, please?
I cannot, but Mark Roston
Mark
can. Or
Jackie has it.
I'm not sure, but is this what was added? Is the line of trees?
What is that dimension there?
I don't know.
What, I can't, could you make it larger? Is it 18 feet? Is the depth of the parking space 18 feet?
Yes.
And the backup space is 20.
Which is the minimum code compliant.
Yes, I just wanted to check that. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments by members of the board?
Well, I'll only say as a follow-up that I'm not, I think it could be improved, but I did not understand that they're not making any modification to the parking to what extent that influences anyone. So I didn't understand that. Having said that, I still think you could move things around. So
I guess I'm looking for a motion.
Do we want to make them? Never mind.
Go ahead, Frank.
No.
I mean, you make a motion or table it.
The question is, do we want a landscape plan or not?
I think it would be wise to do that.
Please make a motion, Doreen.
Can I ask to just potentially condition on the addition of a few trees or so? There's not really too much room there. As I said, if you want him to add 2 trees to the existing landscaping area, I'd be more than happy to do so.
Actually, I was going to ask Carrie, who had brought up the issue of perhaps there being more room there for trees. It would probably be easier if Carrie could put that into a motion.
well, understand that Doreen, if we do that, which I don't necessarily object to, we're going to have to modify their site plan.
And it would require, are you saying if that would be to move the parking spaces?
Yes.
And that would require more variances?
No. I mean, you're going to be adding asphalt on the aisle and you're going to be subtracting it on the parking space. So it is going to scrunch the area between the very modest landscape area that you've got between the parking aisle and it looks like a sidewalk that wraps around. That's going to get squashed up against the, well, you know what? I mean,
Carrie,
yeah.
Carrie, I think what the applicant's asking is if we make a condition to provide additional landscaping within the green portions of the project, they're happy to provide that.
Yeah,
as long
absolutely.
as they're not required to adjust the existing parking lot.
That would be a step in the right direction.
That would be my request. You know, I'm open to, how you want to do that is, I mean, we're happy to provide the 3 bike racks. If you want a couple trees or if you want more shrubbing to kind of serve as a buffer, that's fine too. I would just ask since we're not changing the site at all, I would ask that we put it within the confines of the current layout.
Anyone want to frame a motion around that?
Okay, then I will make a motion that we approve the plan with the addition of 2 trees to be located at the back of the property. One near. We can go back to the site plan, please. So that one be added basically in the space between the 4 shrubs and the parking aisle, and that another tree be added between the property line and the existing walk. Actually, no, let's make it 3 trees. One where the 4 shrubs are, and then 2 additional trees along the existing walk between the walk and the property line. And I would say more at the corner, but I think it says existing patio, so that's obviously paved, so that's out. Additionally, I think that the area, the landscape area along what would be the south elevation of the building, it looks like there's like 4 shrubs there. That should be a contiguous landscape bed. Not, I mean, I don't know what you're gonna do with the rest of it. It'd be a pain in the butt to mow. So, so at any rate, to recap, 3 trees be added at the northwest corner of the structure, and that the landscape beds between the structure and the existing drive be fully landscaped.
All right, can I get a second?
This is KBI second.
All those in favor, say your name and aye.
Keanu, before you motion that, I just want to double check on the second condition that Carrie had mentioned. He said 3 trees at the northwest corner, but then I missed exactly what the second part of that motion was.
That the landscape beds that appear to exist along the strip along the south elevation of the building, the existing drive and the structure of that be completely landscaped, that it'd be full.
Okay.
No turf.
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor, if you will say your name and aye.
Quality, aye.
Gary, aye.
KBI.
Frank, aye. Doreen, aye.
Keone, aye. All those opposed, same sign. The motion passes.
Thank you, everyone. And I apologize for the process issues. I haven't gone through this architectural review board process before, so noted, won't happen again. I
don't blame you, I blame the city.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's their process, they should know it.
Okay, still have to do before.
Thank you, everyone.
Review.
Thank you, Craig.
Okay, UID 20-3-004, 1537 North High Street, shape number 8.
I should have asked that earlier.
The applicant is proposing a wall sign and permanent hanging window sign, as well as a temporary window signage while the interior is under construction. The wall sign will consist of flush-mounted channel lettering measuring a total of 15.68 square feet, 17.21 inches high, and 130.91 inches wide, with a depth of 5 inches. The channel lettering will have an aluminum return and acrylic face that will be blue and white in color and will be LED illuminated from a power source behind the wall. The permanent hanging window sign is square and will hang in the window panel south of the main doors and measure a total of 5.44 square feet. Lettering will be between 2.02 and 5.78 inches high. The sign will be constructed of aluminum and have a coped face, with only the lettering being LED illuminated. Lastly, the applicant proposes temporary window signage to conceal interior construction work. Staff recommends conditional approval. The University District Plan states lettering for a wall sign be between 8 inches and 16 inches high. The previous wall sign measures 20 inches in height and it was 22 square feet. The current application has been reduced to 15.68 square feet for the wall sign, and the wall sign measures 17.21 inches in height. Staff requests a reduction to 16 inches for consistency with plan guidelines. The wall sign otherwise meets the plan guidelines, and the permanent hanging window sign and temporary window signs do not violate the plan guidelines. Staff recommends conditional approval, with the conditions being the wall sign lettering height be reduced to 16 inches.
All right, is the applicant present?
Yes.
The city can put you on camera if you want to raise your right hand. Is the testimony you're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. If you want to go ahead and tell us about it?
Basically the same thing as last month. We just made some modifications with dimensions. Like he just stated, we shrunk the size of the sign on the front down to 17, and if need be to be 16 for approval, that's not a problem. I had some notes here that from the last meeting that around 16 inches would be fine. So we just had it 17, but if you wanted to go 16, that's not a problem. The other note that I had here from the last meeting was staff would like to see that sign centered over the doors. So we've moved that down to be centered over the doors, as in that photo there that's up now. The hanging sign in the window before was 28 inches by 26 inches, and someone from staff recommended that be a square. So we've made that 28 inches by 28 inches to give the M in milkshake and the E in coffee were fairly close to the edge, and I think that's why they were wanting it to be more square to give the appearance of that not running off the edge. So we've made that change, and that will just be the fabrication will be the same on that. It'll be just illuminated letters. The back will be opaque. It's just a shake no 8 and milkshake and coffee would light up on that one. As far as the temporary window coverings, really not too much was discussed last month about that. So no changes were made to that. I don't know if that would be approved or not at this point. They're not done with construction. I'd say they're probably about halfway done. I don't even know at this point if that would be wanted, being how far along they are in construction. I was in there probably about 3 weeks ago, and it was still studs, but I don't know what's happened in the last 3 weeks. So that might not even happen. But if it's approved and he wants it, that'd be fine. If you guys have any questions, I'll answer anything.
Greg, this is KB. Thank you for making the changes. I think that all the things we discussed were well understood and greatly improved. And so I support all of the changes that you made. My question to you is about those temporary signs, because I didn't remember looking at them last time. And I'm just wondering if you can predict how long the temporary signage will be in place.
I think he wanted to open up towards the end of July. I don't know if that's still on track or not. I'm going to guess for maybe about a month.
Yeah, because that is a lot of closed window surface, and I wouldn't want to put a lot of design energy into discussing the success or lack thereof of those graphics. And if it's only there for a month or possibly 2 months, I wouldn't have an issue with it. If it was going to be 6 months, that would be
I don't think it's nowhere near going to be 6 months. I would say at the most it would be 2 months, because he was wanting to open up this summer. So.
And I'm assuming that all 8 glazed surfaces that are covered because that's the width of the store, and they don't want people to see in while construction is going on.
That's correct. It's kind of, the wow factor, I guess, of when he opens, like,
Yeah.
Well, people walking by a lot and probably stopping and trying to ask questions and this and that is my guess for trying to cover the windows.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or comments by members of the board?
No.
All good.
All right, can I get a motion?
This is KB, and I move that we accept the changes that have been made and approve all conditions as proposed.
Second, Pasquale.
Did you want to add a sunset on the window graphics, KB?
The reason I guess I like the suggestion, Frank, but I wouldn't know how to do that, because I wouldn't want them to simply take them down and reveal construction going on. So if something delayed it, once they're up there, I'd rather have the consistency until the event takes place when it opens. You could just say that.
You could just say that.
Okay, what did I say? Okay, as part of the motion, that graphics must remain in place until the shop opens, and we're taking Greg on good faith that it will be less than 2 months.
Sure.
What about the wall sign lettering height? Reducing to 16?
I don't think so.
I don't think that's necessary.
No, county, keep it.
Okay.
Looks good.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry, was that, Patrick, was that clear as a motion? You want me to say it again?
Yeah. The condition is that the graphics remain in place until the store opens. I have you as the first, but I don't believe anyone seconded.
Yeah, Pasquale did.
I did.
Oh, Pasquale.
Okay. All those in favor, say your name and aye.
Carrie, aye.
KBI.
Frank, aye. Frank, aye.
Doreen, aye.
County, aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. UID 19-12-006, Uncommon, 1398 North High Street. And I believe, well, we'll hear from our friend, Mr. Hodge, but if staff wants to bring us up to speed first.
And
Yep.
Keone,
And then
I believe we have members of the public that wish to speak as well.
Yep, that's what I was just going to say.
Yes.
Thanks, Mark.
Yep. My bad. Yep, I got that. Let's have staff bring us up to speed. And let's see.
The members of the public.
And then the members of the public can say what they like to say, and then the applicants can speak.
Correct.
So,
yep. So the property was originally designed to be occupied for an extended period of time by Dollar Tree, who had a long-term lease at the time of construction. The parking calculation was therefore based upon the retail assumption, but since then, occupancy of the site has changed to a restaurant use, and due to this change, a council variance is needed to allow 34 spaces where 86 are required. Planning supports this proposal. The University District Plan recommends regional mixed use at this location, which allows for the highest level of intensity in the planning area. The plan also states that parking variances should review with consideration of the presence of on-street parking, extent of variances requested, size and nature of use, and potential impact on adjacent residential uses. Staff notes that the proposed restaurant will be located along a primary transit corridor with high levels of pedestrian connectivity. Several bus routes stop at this block, and there's a large amount of on-street parking in the area. Staff recommends support.
all right. Anyone who would like to speak on this case, applicants and member of the public, if you'll make sure that your camera's on and that we can see you. Raise your right hand. You swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. If members of the public would like to start first, let's hear what you have to say about the case, and then we'll hear from the applicant.
This is Kathy Fox. I'm the zoning chair for the Denison Neighborhood Association, and we worked with the applicant as well as the Wineland Park Community Civic Association to address issues that were happening in the past that have now been resolved. In addition, we worked with the applicant on addressing potential future concerns to mitigate issues that might occur from the addition of food and beverage establishments into the building. And the MOU that we arrived at amongst the parties includes detailed provisions for how trash will be handled, prohibitions on outdoor speakers on High Street conforming with the University District Plan, establishing proactive lines of communication and problem resolution for any future issues, a limit on the number of liquor licenses, as well as restricting those liquor licenses to restaurants, so there will be no bar-only kind of establishments, and a working group on parking issues in the area. So we are here to speak in support of this variance. We believe that the best results are achieved when zoning applicants are strongly encouraged to work with the neighborhood or organizations on solutions prior to bringing the zoning variances to a vote. This is how the process should work. We applaud the applicant's efforts and we ask you to vote yes.
Are there any other members of the visiting public speaking this evening?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm Tim Sublett.
Introduce. Go ahead.
I'm Tim Sublett, president of the Denison Place Neighborhood Association. I think Kathy has given you as much background as I was prepared to, except to say that we have a track record with the association of finding supportable solutions to zoning issues, and that the successful negotiations and creation of a memorandum of understanding led to a resolution of support for the variance passed by the membership of the association. And I am here primarily to convey that information to you and request that support. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. If the applicant would like to tell us about the application.
Sure. David Hodge, attorney for the applicant. I really have very little to add from what Mr. Fox, Mr. Sublett, and Mr. Holland had to say. This is the uncommon. It was originally entitled to have the commercial portion of the first floor be entirely retail. The current owners would now like the opportunity to lease a portion of that first floor space to restaurants. We capped that at 7,922 square feet, which means a parking reduction of 24 parking spaces. Ended up, as you heard from Denison Place, working out a resolution. I'm thrilled that they are here this evening to support the proposal. I think there's also a letter of support from Wineland Park in your package, and grateful that the city staff is also recommending approval, and hopefully UID-RB is comfortable doing so as well, so we can get on to city council and put this long process to rest once and for all.
Are there any questions by members of the board?
No.
No.
All right. If not, can I get a motion?
I move we approve. This is KB.
Second, Pasquale.
All those in favor, say aye in your name.
Aye, KB.
Aye, Pasquale.
Aye, Frank.
Aye, Doreen.
Aye, Keone. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Happy to see all of you. I long for the day when it can be face-to-face and in person.
Okay.
See you all.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Have a good one. All right. Next case, UID 20-06-001, Rackery Pizza at 1607 North High. Mr. Holtzberry, who we've seen a number of times. The staff wants to bring us up to speed, and then I'll swear in the applicant.
Yep, I believe Ron Moody was going to be taking care of this one as Oliver is on vacation. But yes, the applicant is proposing to install a blade sign on the exterior of the building. Sign will measure 3 feet by 5 inches by 3 feet 5.5 inches and will be white LED illuminated. The logo is 5 inches deep with black returns and a trim cap featuring white acrylic faces. All plate bolts will be covered with an aluminum box, and the sign will be approximately 11.89 square feet. Staff recommends conditional approval. The University District Plan recommends that blind sides be no larger than 6 square feet. Staff recommends that the sign be reduced to 6 square feet for consistency with University District Plan recommendations. Staff recommends conditional approval with the conditions the projecting blade sign be no greater than 6 square feet.
All right. Is the applicant present?
I will be staying in uniform. However, he's out on vacations.
All right. If you want to raise your right hand, well, actually, you've been sworn in. Okay. You want to go ahead and tell us about the application?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So this client would like to get something to appeal greater to pedestrian traffic. Right now, they've got their name on the awning, but as you're walking down the street, it's a little bit difficult to see. So they requested a projecting sign to just call out a little bit better to the pedestrian traffic going by.
Okay. Board members, any questions?
I don't have a question, but I counted brick to determine the height of that beige band, and it's right at 50 inches. So, because I was worried about the scale, whether or not the photo rendering was accurate in scale, it appears to be pretty close. If you can, if you realize that that beige band is 50 inches, and they're calling for the sign to be around 40 inches. So actually, the sign might even be a little smaller in the environment than is shown in the photograph there. My only question is, are there any other blade signs here? It seems odd putting a blade sign in the middle of a.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Frank.
I think it's a very nice blade sign, by the way. I just was curious.
You would, you're Italian.
Ha ha. But I just don't know where it should go. I wish there was a straight up. Well, there is a straight on existing storefront over on the right. I just don't have a sense of where it really should go. It looks like you put it over the. Where did you?
Could we see the frontal view again? An elevation.
That was the only elevation provided.
I think it could go on the beige band as long as it was all the way to the left. I think anywhere sort of in the middle or near the middle is kind of weird, but if it,
I would agree with you, Frank.
if it was centered on the doorway on the left, I think that might work.
Centered on the doorway on the left.
Are there two doors or just one?
I think there's just one.
That's what I mean. The door. Okay, so the doorway, centered on the doorway.
So Frank, you would prefer that to having it be at one end of the beige band?
Oh, well, you mean all the way to the left? You mean, KB?
Yeah, I'm asking the question. I'm not sure what I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just know that it can't be sort of floating. It has to be to the left from either the center point of the door or any farther left than that is fine too, even on top of the brick, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think it could work on top of the brick, Frank.
Higher up?
Yeah.
Centered.
Window?
What's that?
Windows. There's a window up there, right?
No, I would keep
No,
it
not
centered.
that brick. Not that brick.
I would keep it.
Oh, I see the brick between.
The pier, yeah, the brick
between.
pier. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the right, centered on that. Is there a reveal there where that light is, or is that
Looks
just
like it.
okay? So maybe centered on the right half of that pier, and
Yeah, I think
centered, and the same height that they have it shown, which is essentially centered on the sign band.
I think I agree with you, and I think for me one of the reasons that makes sense is then it doesn't look like it's conflicting with the banner, the awning sign. It's separate from the awning sign.
Yeah.
Good point, KB.
It may set a precedent for other blade signs.
Yeah. And I don't think it's too big. I'm pretty comfortable with the size of it.
All right. Any other questions or comments from members of the board?
So could we get a confirmation on, take that arrow and point to where Frank just identified, because I'm in agreement with that as well.
Yep, there,
Right
right
there.
there, right there.
Thanks, Jackie. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. That doesn't seem like an issue to me. I mean, same height that it's currently mounted.
Yes. That's what's nice about the reveal, because it provides a neutral line that separates.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Can I get a motion?
Yeah, I move that we approve the sign with the following condition: that the location be such that it is centered horizontally on the right half of the pier to the south, is it? Which side of
Yes.
the street are we on here?
Yeah, it's the south.
Pier, yeah, centered on the pier to the south, and also the bracket centered vertically on the sign band, which are the, whatever you want to call it, the bulkhead to the right. That's it. And no, no exterior conduit or anything like that, and all bolt covers, bolts be covered with an escutcheon plate.
Frank, should a drawing be presented to staff for staff?
Yes, it's a great idea, KB, and the revised drawing be presented to staff before a certificate of appropriateness is issued. Thanks.
Is there a second?
I second, KB.
All those in favor, say your name and I.
Aye, KB.
Squally in favor.
Frank, I heard Doreen too.
Carrie, aye.
County, aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. UID 20-6-004, Game Arena, 1556 North High Street.
Yep. A sign at this location was previously approved, but the applicant wishes to present an updated application for consideration. The applicant is proposing to install an internally illuminated double-face projecting sign and a face-lit channel lettering wall-mounted sign with an aluminum backer board. The projecting blade sign is 4 foot wide, 4 foot tall, and 1 foot deep with an aluminum cabinet painted black. It is white LED illuminated, and the face features aluminum faces with white push-through acrylic graphics. The wall-mounted sign is 21 feet 5 inches wide and 2 feet 8 inches tall, with lettering being 1 foot 7/8 inches in height. It covers 42% of the tenant frontage and is illuminated with white LED units. Lettering will extend 5 inches beyond the aluminum backer. Staff recommends approval. The wall sign and projecting sign meet graphics plan guidelines for the plaza section of the gateway and is therefore supported by staff.
Can we see the application we approved?
And is the applicant present?
I am.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with the applicant. If you'll make sure your camera's on, raise your right hand. Is the testimony you're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, it is.
Okay, go ahead. You want to tell us about your application?
Yeah, so as Patrick alluded to, this is a revision to an application submitted about a year ago, actually 11 months ago. And since then, we have had a good amount of time to look at our previous application and our new path going forward is to install signage that is in the existing sign bands for this location. So you can see that we have a projecting sign and a wall sign that is directed towards pedestrian traffic within that gateway alleyway. And I know Patrick pulling it up, but our previous submission was for a blade sign that was essentially, if you could go back to the previous slide there, it was essentially between the windows on the second floor and that black painting. And our hope with that was that it would be seen from High Street. But after consideration and numerous trips to the site, we deemed that it's not really going to be seen from High Street, no matter how big we make it. So I think this is our revised plan going forward.
Questions or comments from board members?
One other thing, sorry, if I can really quick to piggyback on what Jared was saying. The one other thing I wanted to make sure, we have worked with Ohio State on this, and I was hoping to have a letter from them to provide in our packet. I was not able to get that, but I did. They did tell me to tell you that we have their full support with the design. The last, I think the term they used a week or two ago was ecstatic. But in any case, Erin Prosser, I don't know if anybody knows Erin, but we had worked with her throughout the process, and she's communicating. So I thought I would add that. Thank you.
I have a question. What is the elevation you're showing? What are you trying to tell us with the elevation, with the stripes, the orange stripes?
I'm sorry, which stripes are you referring to?
Frank, I think those are the existing construction
Those are existing?
of the building.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, they are.
Great. Okay. Could Patrick, could we look? Could you do street view and walk us down the alley here? Can you do that?
Jackie might be able to do that. I'm not sure if we'll be able to actually get into the alleyway or not.
It does. I just did it. I just did it on my other computer on the side, and you can go all the way through the alley, walk through on Street View.
Okay.
The reason why I bring it up is that I'm unsure about taking the white background and making it black. There's a lot of things going on in this alleyway, and I think that would be the only time that white thing gets covered up, and I'm wondering if that's a problem for anybody. I'm not sure really. It's a significant change. Yeah, if you just go in and walk around.
Mm-hmm. It's to the Jack. It's to the right is where it's going. Yeah.
If you rotate the other way, yeah, keep rotating. There we go. Okay, so there's that row of these white. I don't know what the material is, but and then this side back behind us, the Jimmy John sign is just channel letters right on it, right?
Right, and we consider that, and it's my understanding that the brand for Game Arena is the white block letters. And I think we were worried about putting white block letters on that. It's a concrete sign.
No, I understand your issue. I'm just talking about a broader question of everybody here about a change to the building. It's sort of like a change to the building. Just bringing it up.
I can add one thing.
It's a Pasquale here. That's a good point, Frank.
Can I add one thing, or?
We can't hear you if you're making.
Oh no, I didn't want to interrupt. I didn't know if I didn't want to interject.
Go ahead.
I just want to mention, and unfortunately, I guess, Jared, we don't have the previous sign. It's identical in terms of aesthetic. It's a black background with white letters that was approved prior to this. We actually had a similar discussion. You guys do this all the time, so I'm not surprised at all the different signs. But it was, again, the black backdrop with the white letter. We vetted this thoroughly through during the process, because originally we had part of our signage at one of our other locations is red and gray. That was our initial, but we're trying to do a different concept with this space. And the design has worked really, really well. I mean, honestly, everybody's really excited. Yet, actually, that wasn't the. Okay, yeah. Okay. in any case, when you revert that, that would be black and white at night. That was the idea, but you have that. Okay, very good.
Mm-hmm.
You have the night. That was the day.
Let me see.
Well, I hear you. I'm just asking my fellow board members how they feel about changing the color of that panel. That's all.
Can we go back to the current proposal?
Yeah, Jackie, can you reshare that? Or I'm not sure how I.
You need to stop sharing, Patrick. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't think I can take it
Yeah.
from you.
Okay.
Should be at the top of your
Hmm.
screen. There should be a hidden panel that when you go to the top of your screen comes down and you can say stop sharing.
Got it. There we go.
I'm thinking too, yeah. I mean, is it there now?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't think so. I thought that's what was proposed.
One thing that I would suggest is maybe making, if we're okay with the black background, maybe making it smaller such that there is white around it, so it appears to be a black rectangle over the white rectangle. It's one thought.
Well, it also looks to me, Frank, that it's not centered between the bottom of the window and that red brick accent line on the top. It looks like it's hugging the top of the window.
I'm sorry.
It's centered on the space, the
sign band.
The sign band, yeah.
It takes up the sign band perfectly as it's scaled and drawn right now.
Okay. Oh, the adjacent sign band, because this one doesn't have one?
It does. It actually does, and you can see that in the street view. There's an exact.
Okay, I see. Okay.
And to add, it is a backer, so it is removable. You know, it's not changing the look of the building forever. It's just to add some contrast to these channel letters.
And then the blade sign looks like it's going to fall on my head. In other words, it has a very heavy weight to it.
It really isn't. It's all aluminum, and it will.
No. I'm not talking about the
visually
the weight in pounds. Okay.
Dimensionally. Does it have to be a foot thick?
We can slightly smaller. The issue we run into with thinner projecting signs is you go too thin and the LEDs sort of show hot spots if they're too close to the face.
Yeah, but we've been consistently approving 5-inch thick ones. The one just before you was 5 inches.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, we can make it work so that it's thinner if that's something you guys would like to see.
And there's the location of it too. Sort of KB, sort of the same conversation in a way.
Centered over the double doors?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that a vertical blade sign to the right of that projector?
That's a mural that's painted there on the building. It's the text. To the left of that is the picture of the mural that goes into it.
What if your blade sign didn't have a bracket and it was the same height as the white band, leaving the GA the same size as you have it, just cutting off more of the black at the top and the bottom, and it just hit perpendicular into the white band, the same height as the white band?
I would have, Jared, I don't think I have any problem with that.
Oh, David, if you're fine with that, we can make that work too.
I'm also asking. I'm asking my fellow board members. Really.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great improvement for what it's worth. I'm sorry.
I mean, this county, I mean, I think it's a good suggestion, actually. It would sort of clean it up and then it would start to work with those big precast headers.
And maybe the game arena, maybe it just should, it's shortened. Forget the frame around it. Maybe there should just be white showing on the left and the right. I don't know. I'm at a, I don't know what's right here, guys.
Well, Frank, I like your idea of diminishing the height of that to correspond to the precast band. I like that. And making it
yeah, I mean,
reasonably possible.
I mean, at that point, I think the other one is fine. I get your point, Frank, about refacing the header, but in some ways, there's so many things going on that building facade anyway, most of which I don't think is particularly good.
Actually,
I feel like, you know, it doesn't bother.
I think taking the blade sign and making it like we talked will actually make the other sign look better.
Yes, agreed, because they will both start to kind of interact with the precast bands, and they'll have each one will have a kind of architectural relationship to them.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Any other comments or questions from members of the board?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. If not, can I get a motion?
Okay, I move that we approve the application with the following condition: that the blade sign be reduced in height to match the height of the panel, the white panel, and that the bracket be removed such that the face, or such that the edge of the sign be flush to the panel, and that the thickness of the sign be no more than 6 inches.
Okay. Can I get a second?
Very second.
All those in favor, say your name and I.
KB, aye.
Carrie, aye.
Frank, aye.
Pasquale, aye.
Doreen, aye.
Keone, aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, I want to check in with, I guess, board and staff. We're at the 2-hour mark. It's 6 p.m. We have 3 cases left. Do we want to keep going?
They are just they're just looking for our thoughts, right? On those, we're not voting.
There are two window replacements and then conceptual review.
Correct.
Go ahead.
I'm fine keeping moving forward.
I guess I'm feeling that we spend more time on the conceptual review, and putting them at the end of a long agenda isn't really to their benefit. But I could be persuaded otherwise.
It's up
I
to
mean,
everybody
I'm
else.
okay with. Mostly, I asked because the virtual meeting instructions for commissioners state that after the 2-hour mark, it should move to the next meeting. But we, as the board members, we have ultimate call on this per previous discussion. But I want to be respectful of both city staff and board members.
And I guess it was my impression that after 120 minutes, anything left would just automatically roll over to the next one.
This
It
is
will.
Jackie.
I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is Jackie Yeoman. Right. I'm just going to confirm what you already said, Chair, that we recommend to keep it to 2 hours, but I also think that it's always great if you can get through the full agenda. So I think the staff recommendation would be to keep going, but to try to move through them as quickly as possible. And for the conceptual, they could always come back again next month, even if they felt like they didn't get enough attention this month, they could come back again. But it is your call. But I would say if you feel like you could move through them relatively quickly, that would be a good thing to be able to keep going if you can.
Agreed.
Okay. I mean, I guess if we lose a board member too, as long as we have a quorum, we're probably okay. Why don't we, let's keep going.
You're saying that's going to be a long.
UID 20-6-5, 234 East 17th Avenue.
Yeah, we should have a public speaker on this one as well, but I'll read my staff report, then we can get to that. So the applicant is proposing to replace and refurbish windows in an existing historic structure in 2 phases. In phase 1, the windows indicated on side A, side B, and the back and rear of the structure will be replaced with earthwise casement and earthwise double slider windows in black vinyl. Each window will fill the original window opening and be almost identical in appearance as well as color inside and outside of the structure. Original windows are black lead lined steel and will be refurbished to their original condition if not indicated for replacement. Phase 2 includes 7 windows being replaced on the front and side of the structure due to current codes and means of egress. The new windows will be earthwise casement windows in black vinyl. The remaining windows are black lead steel lined windows and will be refurbished to their original condition. The front middle window, marked B, will have original windows converted into 1 casement window. The size of the original 2 windows are the same as 1 casement window, so the size of the window opening will not be altered. Additionally, a faux center beam on the new casement window will be added to improve appearance. Staff recommends approval. The University District Plan recommends original windows doors should be preserved, and when replacement is necessary, the original design and proportion should be maintained. The proposed windows are accurate in representation of historic windows. And additionally, staff is consulted with the Historic Preservation Officer to ensure the proposal is appropriate. Staff recommends approve.
Okay, next the applicant and the members of the visiting public who would like to testify will make sure your camera's on. Raise your right hand. The testimony you're about to give, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I guess if the member of the visiting public would like to start, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you have to say.
You guys want me to start here and just, bring these other guys in if we need them? Really, I have my architect online, Steve Stump, and Tony Celebrezzi from the city. You can talk to if we need them. But if we don't need them, we'll try to make this quicker, and then if they need to chime in, we'll have them come in and talk too. That makes sense.
Yeah, let's start with the member of the public who wants to testify, and then we'll move on to the applicant.
Yeah, so that would be Tony.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'm just working with Mr. Wheeler on this project, being that both of us have an interest in it. So I'm just here to support him.
All right, so you're in favor of his application?
Yes, I've worked with him on the application to try to make sure that the Ohio Building Code is met, and that we also met the requirements of the district.
Okay, great. Thank you for your testimony. Mr. Wheeler, you want to explain the project to us?
We had it in 2 phases because we thought the first phase was going to get accepted by staff approval. It wouldn't have to go. So we basically now are trying to get it all done at once, that we have you guys, everyone present. So basically, if you see the pictures on the sides and the back, we're only proposing to replace the top windows. And these are all just bedroom windows. And the problem with the house was built in 1921. None of the windows to the bedrooms are egressable. So to do the construction and to pass the city, we have to make these windows egressable. So basically what we're doing is taking two individual casements, making up one casement that's egressable on the back and on the sides. But it does affect 6, or actually basically 7 windows in the front of the house. There's the front. The biggest change would be, the only one we're going to affect that's a leaded window that we have to replace is on that front. Go right, that one right there, and B. That's the 4th floor. That's about 120 feet away from the street. That's the only leaded glass we have to take out of this house. All the rest of the boarded up windows you see are going to stay original leaded glass. But that top window up there is a bedroom. And none of those individual 4 windows that open make egress. So we're proposing to take the center beam out, make one casement that meets egress. And then we're going to put a faux beam in that window so it matches what you see. And the leaded appearance in the glass will all be the same too.
Yeah.
So we're trying to keep it as original as possible. And here's another good. Here's the other side of the front. And those top ones are all steel casement windows. And actually on the 3rd and 4th floor, all steel casement that we're proposing to change to make them egressable. All the rest of those ones you see boarded up will stay leaded. And again, it's just to make egress for the bedrooms. Any questions? I don't know if I explained that well enough.
I have one question. Is it, I'm just placing this. It's the Tau Kappa Epsilon, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long has it been abandoned, I guess I want to say?
Well, they were kicked off campus, so I'm a former member of the house. So I came in to put this house back together and help with get the construction done. It'll be 2 years now. Well, starting the 2nd year this summer.
Okay. And can you remind me who the architect was?
Steve Stump, and he's online there too.
Okay.
The original.
Oh, well, that's a good question. There's a sister house down the street. I couldn't tell you the architect. Maybe Tony, being a member. It's something, I don't know.
We can look it up. It's just not coming to me. Okay.
Yeah.
It is significant though. Thank you.
Yeah. No, we're really trying to keep the character of this house. I really hated to do what we're doing, but it has to be done to meet city code and to make this thing safe for the people living in it.
Yeah, in all honesty, I think we're going to need to see drawings with what you're proposing on the facade.
You can see that the windows are there underneath. I don't know if it's white, if you can broaden it out, but you can, if you can expand that at the bottom, you can see the picture of the windows.
To be clear, what Pasquale is asking for is standard in the presentations to the University Impact Design Review Board. We need to see the architect's drawings of the facade with the windows that you propose in them. And it's not just an exercise. It really is important because all of those dimensions will show up and make a composite graphic that will tell you and us a lot of very critical information. You understand things about the shadow in the back. You understand how the new form is going to read relative to the very important historic building. So we really will need drawings before we can go any further.
Also, it would help if we had some historic photos. And if you don't have them, Patrick, I might be able to supply some of them so that we have a better understanding of what the original building looked like or will look like.
Okay. Yeah, I guess just to comment, I discussed this building with the historic preservation officer. And he thought that the windows were appropriate and reflected the historical character of the building. That being said, I don't know if he referenced exact pictures or not, but after consultation with him, he did say that this would be appropriate moving forward.
There are some pictures of the.
Well, the windows may be appropriate, but we have to determine if it's appropriate on the building.
Right. And Patrick, I can just send those to you by my phone probably tomorrow.
Okay.
One question though that I have of my fellow board members is about this B window, the one in the front that you want. Can you go to the one with the, yeah. Removing the timbering in the middle. is oddly strange to me. I mean, I understand from an egress standpoint, but if I had to mess that facade up, I'm not sure if that's the way I'd want to mess it up.
Yeah.
Because I think a hole in the middle is antithetical to that type of architecture. I'd almost feel better if they took out two of those verticals to make it two squares, and not a three-part composition.
The windows.
But hold on. But I'd rather, but obviously rather not take the timber out at all. But and wonder if there's some way to make the center timber or one of the timbers removable in case of or operable, I should say, an operable timber in case of emergency. So that I'd ask that first. Is there a way to make it operable and keep it? And then the question is, if it has to go, should it be the one in the middle or should it be one on either side of the middle, or both sides?
Definitely the one in the center is the only one to make it symmetrical. You know what I mean? To make the look.
Yeah, okay, but I'm not asking. I understand. I'm not asking you though. I'm asking my fellow board members what they think about that.
And I want to follow up on that, Frank, because you and I are thinking the same way on this issue. So where I'm looking at that B on the third floor on that main prominent facade, I've seen historic reuse of structures meeting current for dwellings that keeps the exact proportions of the timbering with a custom-made window that in case of emergency, that part pops out. So in other words, the window can operate as a casement normally that's too small for egress, but in the case of emergency, that center piece pushes out.
Yeah.
Are the windows that you're proposing here on the graphic with the description of the windows, they're all being custom made for this house, right?
Yeah, and there is a heavy center bar in that. So you'll still see the same look of two individual with a heavy beam in the center, but it's just a fake faux beam, and the whole window will open as one.
And this is what I'm suggesting you, that would be a different option to that I would ask you to research before you come back to us. And that is this. Instead of, as you've drawn it, where the casement opens, so that when somebody's living there, they open the window, you're going to see that whole center wide beam move. Instead, the alternative is a casement in which the smaller rectangle moves, just as you see now, and that center piece breaks out only in case of emergency.
Yep.
So that's a fixed piece for normal operation with smaller operable casements. In case of emergency, that piece can push out.
And I think the building department will be considerate of that issue on this point. They will work with you.
I would also ask for, when you come back with drawings, and it would be really great to have historic photos so that we can see, because I want to clarify, I think I understood you say the bay window that's below that on that prominent facade. You said that is actually a leaded glass facade and that'll just be restored. Is that right?
Everything below the third and fourth floor that are all lead, will stay original lead windows.
Yeah, and they get restored. Okay. Yeah. So that's what, I just can't picture it because of the plywood in there, but that's what I would like to see, because of course what we're looking at from the aesthetic position of the design review board is looking at how the changes are going to look with the existing, and of course with the board up we can't see that right now. Do you see what I mean?
Oh,
right.
And it's in our.
So what do we call this? Is this stockbroker tutor? Is that what you call this?
The architect.
I'll look at it. I'm sorry, Frank, what you just?
Stockbroker tutor? Is that what you call this? Stockbroker tutor? You familiar with that term?
No, I'm not.
It was all the rage for wealthy stockbrokers in whatever it was, the teens that have Tudor homes, and the way it was built in the U.S., they called it stockbroker Tudor.
And I'm just used to hearing Tudor revival.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like stockbroker Tudor. It's a little more basic.
Thank you. I like that too.
Sorry to interrupt my committee members, but I do have a hard stop at 6:30, and it's now 6:20. So
I'm coming up against a problem too.
Okay, why don't we keep moving? Well, it sounds like the board members are asking that you come back with drawings showing the replacement windows and the elevation, or do you
ask one thing? Could we
understand the request?
Could we ask one thing? Could we do this in these phases? Then phase one, we don't touch anything in the front of the house, but we can do the sides and the back, that part done, and then leave the front to make sure it phases.
I'm a little nervous about that.
Then we can actually show you maybe a window in what it looks like, and then the front's the most important part of this house. Trust me, I want to keep the
Drawings have to be for the complete house. The drawings.
Yeah. You don't want to do anything until you see the drawings.
Okay.
So can we get a motion to table then? And then, yeah.
Board members, someone want to make a motion?
Yeah, this is KB. I move that we table this discussion and decision until we get a full set of presentation drawings on the facades and the proposed changes.
I second that, Doreen.
Okay, all those in favor, say your name and I.
Pasquale, aye.
Doreen, aye.
Frank, aye.
KBI.
Keone, aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay, the motion passes. All right, there are two more cases left.
Yep.
We can't do that.
UID 20-6-9, 80 King Avenue.
Keone, before you go on, this is Gary. I kind of structured my evening assuming this would end at 6. So if we still have a quorum, I'm gonna have to buzz off.
Yeah, and I have to leave too. I'm afraid also the conceptual drawing, the last one, is that the midway bar? Because we haven't seen that.
Cohatch OSU.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be, it's been a while since we've seen that. And I think it's going to take a lot of discussion. Yeah. We adjourn.
Well, do we want to try to get through the last? Do we want to try to get through the King Avenue windows?
Let's look at it.
Let's look and see.
Okay. So this is the applicant's proposing a replacement of windows of a single-family residence at King Avenue. The structure is a contributing building on a corner lot facing King Avenue in an alley. The applicant is proposing to use Joyce Heritage vinyl windows in white. No window siding will be altered, and the proposal meets the guidelines for window replacement. However, the type of window the applicant is proposing is not on the approved window list. Staff recommends approve with the conditions being the window selected from the approved window list.
All right, sorry, I've lost my data connection. I've got voice, but no meeting.
No video.
No video.
And the graphics on this are very hard for me to evaluate. I can't tell exactly what's being proposed and they're not legible to me. So all we're doing is approving a window type that's not part of the, something that we've done in the past. It's not part of the recommendation.
Correct. It's not on the approved. It's not on the approved window list. So at that point, they need to appear before the board.
And do we see the 80 King Avenue building? Is there a drawing or a graphic?
If Jackie, if you could pull it up on Google Maps, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yep, that blue house right there.
Doctor's office, isn't it?
This is Jackie Yeoman. I just want to say that, Patrick's recommendation, staff recommendation would be to approve with the condition that the window is on the window list, which would allow it to be staff approval. I just want to highlight that that is an option as well.
That would be a great option.
Yeah, it makes the most sense.
Yeah. Yep.
Keone, are you still not able to have video at this time?
Yeah, I'm rebooting the tablet now. If someone wants to maybe pick this one up.
Yeah, could somebody else on the board potentially, or Patrick, actually, could you swear in the applicant so that we can allow the applicant to speak before a motion is made?
Yes, I'm not sure. Hi, Patsy.
Hi.
I'm not sure if there is official swearing in language, but do you swear to tell the truth in this application with your hand? All right, I see that. Patsy's sworn in.
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can state your case to appear before the board to use these windows at this time.
Thank you. What I am proposing is to replace existing replacement windows with a better quality replacement window. So it would be like for like. We're not making any changes. We will do the framing as it is currently done. We'll be capping the windows like for like. So we don't propose to make any changes other than newer, better quality windows.
Yep. This should be it.
This is KB. This looks very straightforward to me. I don't think that we should hold up these people's work unless somebody sees some kind of outstanding condition that's problematic. Otherwise, I would vote to approve.
Do you want to put that into a motion, KB?
Yeah, I move that we approve of this window for that use.
I second.
All right.
Question, why do you choose not to use a window from our list?
I currently work for Able Roof, and we do not sell a window that is on your current list, but I would love to propose getting our window added.
Okay.
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 I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. No, I understand.
And I'm just going to note, this is Jackie again, that Keone will not be able to vote on this because his video is not working. So Patrick, so Patrick, maybe could you lead the roll call? I think there was already a first and second.
Yeah. So KB was the first on that, and who was the second?
I was Doreen.
Doreen. All right. All in favor of, say aye. I don't have that lingo quite down yet, Frank.
Yeah. Frank, aye.
Okay.
Doreen, aye.
KBI.
Pasquale, aye.
Carrie.
And then did Carrie get off?
I did. Carrie, aye.
Good. We got 5.
Okay. Okay. So we got 5-4 there. All right. To approve. All right. Motion passes.
Well, thank you, and thank you for staying late to help us through this. I appreciate it.
Thank you for staying late.
No, thank you for staying late.
Thank you. So should I move to adjourn?
Yes.
May I jump in really quick? This is Jackie Yeoman again. First of all, I do see Keone is back. If you want to lead. And then second, I want to just throw out for consideration quickly. So we could, the board could choose to have a business meeting in July. That would be 2 weeks from today if you wanted to look at the conceptual case at a business meeting so that they don't have to wait a month. It's the board's call, but I just want to throw that out there as an option. It could also be...
Jackie, I'm willing to be that. I'm not going to be here 4 weeks from today.
And I was going to say, Patrick can follow up via email as well, but I just wanted to mention it as an option.
Yeah, follow up on email would be good. We have to check calendars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Are we good to go?
We're adjourning. Bye.
Bye.
Do we need a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I moved it already.
Just
Somebody
adjourning?
seconds it.
Okay. Okay, we're good then.
Aye. We're good. Bye.
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 Night.
Okay.
Good night.
Have a good one.
Feel like there's